I'm still working on revising the textbook I wrote to teach homeschoolers world history. A Bible Believer Looks at World History, which you can purchase on Amazon in Kindle or paperback form. And I'm talking about giants, continuing to talk about the idea of giants today. I want to add what I said yesterday that there are so many reports of giants being found in graves representing a civilized people that these cannot be wholly discounted. And based on the evidence alone, regardless of your interpretation of it, has to bring questions into mind of what reason people have for denying the Bible account that there were populations of giants active in the days of Moses and Joshua. Remains have been found all over the world in grave sites and other places of people, sometimes in groups of 7 feet tall to as much as 12 feet tall. Even if you discount 90% of these accounts as myth or fabrication to make a buck, the remaining 10% would make you think that the more investigation would be enlightening. Quoting from one source about giants, I'm quoting, in 1936, Larson Cole, the German paleontologist and anthropologist, found the bones of gigantic men on the shore of Lake Eliassi in Central Africa. Other giant skeletons were later found in Java, the Transvaal, in China. The evidence for the existence of giants is incontrovertible, unquote. A scientifically assured fact, says Dr. Louis Burkholder. Burkholder was writing in the 1850s, but of course, being the good scientist, he believed that giants were the result of mutations caused by the solar emissions of infrared rays. This seemed more plausible to him than the Bible account, even though 99% of all mutations kill the organism mutated. Unfortunately, this is the line of thought made famous by Harvard paleontologist Jay Gould in his, quote, hopeful monster theory of what he called punctuated equilibrium, where evolution made rapid changes due to sudden mutations. So the story of Joshua brings up some of the most intriguing questions for secular historians and archaeologists. The archaeological history of Jericho contains evidence that it was an ancient city by the time Joshua arrived. The city-states of Palestine and Syria were so wealthy by then that they had invited conquest by Egypt. At the time of Joshua, Durant reports, as does the Bible, that Jericho, quote, was a well-walled city ruled by kings acknowledging the suzerainty of Egypt. The tombs of these kings, excavated by the Garstang expedition, contain hundreds of vases, funerary offerings, and other objects indicating a settled life at Jericho in the time of the Hyksos domination and a fairly developed civilization in the days of Hatshepsut and Tutmos III, unquote. Then Durant makes one of those wonderful statements of his that reveal the weakness of traditional histories alongside of the authority of the Bible. He goes on to say, quote, it becomes apparent that the different dates at which we begin the history of diverse people are merely the marks of our ignorance, unquote. Usher dates the destruction of Jericho to 1451 BC. Joshua and the Israelites cross the Jordan, the males are circumcised, and Joshua has his encounter with the captain of the host of the Lord, who gives the answer that everyone who goes to war should read over and over again. When asked if he was on Joshua's side or the enemy's, he answers in 21st century English, quote, neither, but as captain of the Lord's host have I come, unquote. So I'm going to talk more about the destruction of Jericho from the Bible and from a historical perspective next. I hope that you'll feel free to make comments about this. If you don't agree with me, provide your citations, but please click like and subscribe or follow. Thank you for watching this video today.